everyone has a safe place to call home. Love is what drives us to expand access to affordable health care, to strengthen food assistance for struggling families, and to invest in housing so that every child can grow up with stability and hope. Love means building a system that lifts people up, not leaves them behind. Because when you love the people, you fight for policies that protect their dignity, their humanity, that reward their work and make life better for every community, not just some. That's how we serve. That's how we lead. And there's no person that is leading this Congress better in listening to the people, learning their needs, and lifting up their voices than our Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to my good friend, Representative Stephen Horsford, for those very powerful words. And of course, I'm so thankful for Congressman Tim Kennedy, who has joined us as well, and other members of the House Democratic Caucus who were part of this incredibly powerful and important meeting, led by Bishop Barber and joined by so many different distinguished members of the clergy, of different faith traditions, denominations, and backgrounds, but all here today to make clear that fighting for the health care of everyday Americans, for the poor, the sick, and the afflicted, for the least, the lost, and the left behind is not a partisan issue, it's a moral issue. And standing on the side of the health care of everyday Americans is the right place to be. Fighting to make sure that no one in this country, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, should go hungry in America. That's not a partisan issue, it's the right place to be. In every faith tradition, as we will hear. So we're so thankful for their moral leadership, thankful for the moral clarity that they've brought to this issue, thankful for the inspirational wisdom and vision that was imparted to us as members of Congress, standing on the side of the American people. And it helps to continue to fuel our efforts to stay the course. This is not a fight for Democrats or Republicans, it's a fight for the American people. And we're going to stand on the side of the health care of the American people, of the safety of the American people, of the well-being of the American people. And lastly, I'm just appreciative that these distinguished members of the clergy, these great faith leaders, have also brought with them individual Americans who are being impacted by some of the extreme policies that have emerged from the administration and from this Congress this year, who we'll also hear from. And Bishop Barber and these distinguished members of the clergy have reinforced the principle that in America, poverty or hardship is not a choice that people are making. It's as a result of policy violence being visited upon everyday Americans. The largest cut to Medicaid in American history, that's policy violence. Shutting down hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers, that's policy violence. Ripping food away from the mouths of hungry children, seniors, families, women, and veterans, and using them as a political point, that's policy violence. And the refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, the unwillingness to find a dime to meet the health care needs of the American people when some folks can find $40 billion to bail out a right-wing dictator in Argentina. That's policy violence. And so I'm just thankful for these great men and women of the clergy, thankful for these patriotic Americans who've come to share their stories with us, and we've heard from folks from West Virginia and North Carolina and other parts of this great country, as you will as well. And now it's just my great honor and privilege to yield to the distinguished bishop who has brought us together. We know he's a voice for the voiceless. He's a mighty man of God. He's a powerful, profound, prophetic, principled pastor. Yes, yes. Reverend Bishop Barber.
We come here today to put legs on our prayers. We heard the leader in the fight for health care and the fight against this big, deadly, ugly, destructive bill declare some words that we've used in the movement, that something is wrong when you pray, P-R-A-Y, at the opening of Congress, and then you pass policy violence that prays, P-R-E-Y-S, on the very people that faith tell us ought to be the central concern of government and policies and not the last. We've come here today thinking about and lifting up the 140 million poor and low-wage people in this country, 43% of our nation adults, 51% of our children, 87 million people who are uninsured or underinsured, who already are before these massive cuts that will only make things worse. Today, I want to do three things in the time that we've been allotted. I want to share a little bit about why we came, but first I want to have Reverend Dr. Hannah Broome read just off the numbers from the South only. The South, where we've been holding Moral Mondays in front of senators' offices who voted for this big, deadly, destructive bill, and House members who refuse to meet with the people, clergy and impacted people who are carrying caskets, because thousands and thousands of people will die, not as a result of God calling them home, but result of policy violence. And I want just to read these numbers so that the media hears the extent of what is going on, broken down, not just the big national number, 16 million, but what's actually happening in states and why clergy and others are standing with impacted people. Then I want to ask the leaders who come here to just give their name and their denomination. They will talk to you after the press conference. We know we can't stand forever at the press conference, but we want you to know and see the diversity. That when we talk about faith and moral leaders, we're not just talking about black church leaders, we're not just talking about traditional denomination, we're talking about Jewish and Christian and Muslim and people of faith and women and men and diverse groups, predominantly black histories, diverse histories, who are coming together because all of our religious traditions remind us that if we don't stand up for the poor, the least of these, the sick and the uninsured, then everything we claim about faith remains suspect, deeply suspect. So I want them to introduce themselves and say what group they represent so you know who came today to bring with them the impacted people. And then lastly, we have some impacted voices who are the most important voices today. We can't get them all in, so we're actually releasing today a video that was prepared for this meeting. It can go out to the members of the media, we send it to every member of Congress so you can hear the pain and see the faces. It's time that we put a face on these numbers. And we want you to know we did ask Mike Johnson for a meeting. He said he was too busy. We said it was interesting because the government shut down. But we're going to keep coming. We'll keep at. We'll do it by Zoom. We'll do it. But we are not prophetic voices for any party. We are prophetic voices for the truth and to stand on the side of the least of these. So if those, first of all, powerful religious leaders who are supporting the testifier would come, would you come real quickly and say who you are? Then Hannah's going to take about 30 seconds and read off these numbers from the South. I want to make